Yes, we're gonna notify the customer, let them know that we're on site, on their property, we're testing their backflows, and we'll have their water turned off for a little while. So the next thing we're gonna do is, again, we want to identify the unit. This one here is a Wilkins pressure vacuum breaker, 720A, it's a 3/4 inch glass. Serial number is CB833130. All this information needs to be on your test sheet, okay? Once you've identified the unit, you want to inspect the unit. This one here has a canopy that's usually mounted on the top. We've removed the canopy for testing procedures, but you would want to note that on the comment section of your test sheet, that the canopy was missing, okay? Or anything else out of the ordinary. If the shut-off valves are in an off position, you would want to note that on your comment section as well. So this one is okay, all right? So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to check our test kit again. Again, this was the Midwest 830. All the valves are identifiable, pretty easy. We want to check it, make sure all the valves are closed before we start any testing, okay? Then we're going to flush our test box. On this particular device here, order does not matter on it. So we're just going to go ahead and we're going to open test cock number 2, bleed it off, close it, and then open test cock number 1. Bleed it off, close it, okay? So once we've done that, we're going to hook up our high side hose to test cock number 2, okay? So we're going to get our air inlet valve opening point to start with, all right? So we're going to hook it up. We're then going to open the test cock number 2, get flow through the assembly, the oil meter. We're going to open the high side bleed, get all the air out of the meter and out of the assembly, all right? Once we bleed it off, we're going to close it, okay? Next thing we're going to do is we're going to get our line pressure reading. We have approximately 90 PSI. We're going to write that in our line pressure section of our test sheet, 90 PSI. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is get set up for testing. All right. So here we're going to shut off valve number 2 first. Then you're going to close shut off valve number 1. Okay. So to get this area open here, you're going to have to open the low side or the high side bleed valve. Okay. To do that, you're going to want to put your finger on top of the assembly, all right? Because you're going to be able to feel that air inlet when it opens. You're not going to be able to watch it because you need to watch your needle, all right? So as soon as this thing pops open, your needle's going to pause at that place for a second, and that's the reading you need to take. It's going to continue to fall, so if you take your eyes off of it and then watching this, you're actually not going to get a good reading. So you'll open your high side bleed valve again, no more than a quarter of a turn. So you open it that quarter of a turn, you'll see your needle starting to drop. That one opened at 1.4, okay? You couldn't hear that, but I can feel it with my finger, all right? So that opened at 1.4. So on the test sheet, over where it says pressure vacuum breaker, the air inlet opened at 1.4, okay? This time you want to close your test cock, okay? You want to remove that hose from test cock number 2, move it to test cock number 1, okay? Then you're going to open your shut-off valve number 1. You want to open it quickly because your inlet had opened, all right? So you want to open it kind of fast so that it jams that water or the water closes that inlet valve. If you open it too slow, water's going to continue to run out and you're going to get really wet. So you want to open that kind of quickly, all right? You want to get water back through the assembly. Open your test cock number 1. Open your high bleed again. Get all the air out of your assembly and out of your meter. You want to close it, okay? Then you'll shut off valve number 1 again, okay? Then you're going to open test cock number 2. You're going to see water start to flow out of that test cock, and when the water stops flowing and the needle stabilizes, that means your check valve is closed, all right? So this check valve is closed here at 2.0. So we're going to mark that on your test sheet. Check valve closes at 2.0. Again, under the pressure vacuum breaker section of your test sheet. All right. After that, you want to leave that test cock open, and we're going to go ahead and open shut off valve number 2. So what we're doing here, since this backflow preventer here is only allowed to be used in a back siphoning situation, we're checking for back pressure downstream. If when we open this shut off valve here, if any pressurized water would come out of here, then that would tell us we have a back pressure situation and this backflow preventer is in an improper installation. It is not. So you want to go back and you want to close your shut-off valve number 2. All right. Then you want to close your test cocks, all your test cocks. remove your test hose. Open shut-off valve number 1 first. Open shut-off valve number 2 to reestablish pressure downstream to the customer. Open your meter for transport. And that concludes that test.